So, this one's gonna be about money, I guess, and investing and rich people, and also seems to be actually famous people and so on. This is what today's episode is gonna be about. So stay pumped, because I am fucking pumped. I truly fucking am. I think I'm just now the happiest and just, I don't know, pump test, whatever. I've been on this day. Maybe unfortunately, maybe fortunately that I am now pumped, depends on your focus, depends on your perspective. But yeah, as I've already kinda pointed out in or before the intro, we're going ahead with, or we're actually starting with an money.com article on celebrities and or relatively famous people. So it always depends on where you're coming from and whatsoever, but you probably know them by some kind of form. And and they are investing. They are investing in certain things. Some people you might know they're investing in things. About some people you might not know it. So in the end, I guess it is pretty interesting to see what they're investing in. Also maybe to see what is working, what is not working, to just maybe give you somehow a few ideas, a few kind of sparks for your brain or something. But yeah, we will see. We're going through this article. I do just have to open it up on the right browser because I've had it on Chrome and not on the other one. But yeah. I hope the video isn't just starting right now. Yes, it is starting. No, I please don't want you to start. Everything is fine. Please don't start. I hope, yes, it is starting. Thanks. So yeah, this is the article. It is called 11 celebrities who have made brilliant investment decisions. And as you might know, or as you might, well, the thing is, we can assume, or people can assume, that those relatively famous and also relatively rich people actually do make good decisions in terms of their investments, but certainly it is not always the case. Like, a lot of people actually do just use their wealth in a proper way to actually kind of accumulate even more wealth and money and whatever. And some people actually kind of fucked it up, Some people actually did some great investments, but then just really, kind of spent their money on some bullshit and then lost it all again. And I think one of these persons we are also going through in this, hopefully relatively short article. But yeah. So there is going to be just some intro, but I'm not going to read that just because I do not want to lose any time. Can I just... Thank you. Can I just do that? So the first one is Diddy, for all the podcast listeners that can't read this article with me. So if you're interested in reading it along with me or just reading it while I'm talking about it, then totally check out the YouTube video, because there you can totally read along with me and or read the article, and or you just go into the podcast description or the YouTube description wherever you are, and just click on the article, because everything is linked down in the description, and then read it without the podcast. When you're faster, please do that. And if it is just a better way for you to learn things, please do that. Please stop the podcast immediately and or the video immediately and go through it on your own. But yeah, anyway, the first person is actually Diddy. Diddy is actually as far as I know, at least, he is the second wealthiest rapper and or musician, but I'm not quite sure about that, on this fucking planet. The wealthiest one is Jay-Z with 1 billion, so exactly 1 billion. He's the first billionaire who is actually also a rapper. And Diddy is the second one with, I think he's right, as they also say, with a net worth edging toward 1 billion. He's quite at 900 million or something, 800 million. So definitely he's a pretty wealthy guy. He totally is. So I think, as also Jay-Z did, as you might know, Jay-Z is probably investing quite a lot of things, and he also has his own companies and whatsoever. I think one of them actually sells whiskey or something, but I'm not quite sure about that. So I'm really not. Or is it actually Diddy, just because I'm reading it there? But yeah, I'm just going to read his quick little text. So with a net worth edging towards 1 billion, Sean, or Diddy, is it Sean Combs? Yeah, Sean Combs has moved far beyond the title of musician. The hip-hop star partnered with the liquor Behemoth, whatever this means, I don't know. Or is it Behemoth Diageo or Diageo, whatever, offering his marketing muscle for its Ciroc or Ciroc or Ciroc vodka in exchange for a share of profits. He quickly helped transform it into one of the biggest vodkas on the market before taking on another joint venture in the De Leon tequila brands. And those are in addition to his many other ventures, including a clothing brand and a large stake in the Revolt TV network. Just as I'm just reading TV there, or TV, it is not no we, like we. Never mind. The thing is, yeah, I don't know. What do you actually think about TV? Do you actually think that it's gonna live for a couple of years from now on? Because I guess it's gonna die. As unfortunate as it is for all the people that are actually working in this kind of area, and I do hope that all those networks are pretty smart and actually somehow transition into streaming and some internet services or web-based services. I do really hope that nobody's actually losing their jobs, because it just, it is so fucked up, especially if, the whole TV thing has been just good for the past 10 years, at least, like, as I remember it, it has been quite good for the last 10 years, in the last 2 years or something, we've totally noticed, like, okay, people are streaming a lot, and people are on the internet, and people are consuming things on Netflix and Amazon Prime or whatever there is, Maxdome, all those streaming services. And also a lot of TV networks were pretty smart about it, and also were like, okay, we just also make our own streaming service. Like, I don't know, there are a bunch of German broadcasters who have their own streaming service for their daily kind of just broadcasting schedule, program, whatever it is. So they do just basically broadcast all the things that they just usually broadcast on TV, also on the internet, which is, I think, a pretty smart move, especially because you somehow capture both audiences. Like, of course, there are still some people that are watching TV, for example, my parents, which is actually something that's relatively funny, because I thought, like, nobody's watching TV. But as I realized, like, okay, my parents still do, it is like, probably a lot more people do, especially those that are a little older, like, especially those that are already in their, the people that are already retired, yeah, that's the word that I'm searching for. And so I do believe that those just still watch TV, some even don't, like, I know also older people or old people and that are streaming as well. Like, I think it just really depends on the person. Some people just wanted to figure that out, and some people just don't. And some people just stick with the old shit or the old stuff, and some people just don't, which is totally fine, which is totally fine. But I don't know, I don't know if those 60-year-old people that are still watching TV, if they're gonna be able to watch TV until they die, or until they just, until they die, basically, because I somehow don't feel like it. I kind of feel, even though Netflix is just really having a lot of problems with their subscription because they lost a few. Well, a few is a little bit underdone, actually, if there is even the word, I don't know. But the thing is, they lost a lot of subscriptions in the past year, or for the next year, something like this. So I've seen a statistic, and it didn't look that nice for them, or that good for them. But the thing is, like, probably they kind of just come up with a new series, or they come up with something new, and then, they are gonna see. It might have started actually with Game of Thrones, if I just think about it, because, a lot of people just watch this series, and I also assume that a lot of people actually bought Sky, at least, I don't know if this is actually a kind of global thing, or global issue, quote unquote, that you had Sky to watch Game of Thrones, but, in my community or in my area, you had to. There was no other streaming service, but I think it was global. I think it really was international or global. But yeah, you know what? Let's move on actually with Ellen DeGeneres. The funny thing is, I was going through the article, like, I think 2 days ago or something, or on the weekend. Today we have Tuesday, by the way. And I was like, Ellen DeGeneres. Well, I do not actually think that you pronounce her name that way, but it is quite funny, because he also seems to be and also looks like pretty generous. I don't know. He just looks, pretty nice, pretty, just, how should I say, like friendly? I think friendly would be a pretty good word. But yeah, let's actually see what she does, because I assume just because she also has quite a lot of money, what she does with all her money. So major stars with their frequently eccentric taste don't always play the real estate game to their best advantage. A clear exception is the current queen of daytime TV. Ellen DeGeneres has become one of the most well-known house flippers in Hollywood, even if she doesn't look at the pursuit quite that way. I've never bought to sell. I always say, this is it. I'm never moving. People laugh at me now, she told the New York Times of her prolific real estate habit with wife Portia de Rossi, with whom she's renovated a number of houses or homes. She's owned and sold 12 properties since becoming famous, of diverse sizes and styles, and made a good chunk of change in the process. She flipped one 40 million mansion for a 15 million profit, and that's when she's not one of the busiest people on TV. What? But yeah, so, the funny thing is, like, I don't know, like, you have money, you make more money with the money if you know how to do it. It might not actually be only the case for those people that have a lot of money. Like, I assume that also those people that are not having such a lot of money, like, you need to have money to invest it in something. But I do also assume that there are some great ways to, invest 2K or 3K. Gary Vee actually, just because I want to spread that, just because it might be really, really valuable for you. And Gary Vee was talking about investing into sports cards. I'm really not educated in that space. I really am not. But he said that it is actually a good investment. And he was just also talking about some examples that, like, okay, he bought a card for like $50 or something, which was like, as I was just, listening to that because it was a podcast episode, and I was like, this is just fucked up. You're fucking paying 50 fucking bucks for a fucking sports card. It is a fucking card. It is just insane. It really is. But the thing is, the price was raised. Was it raised, or it got up? You know what I mean. It just got up, and now he can sell the card for $80. Like, you're making I think it was actually in 4 weeks or something, or 2 weeks, or a few days. Could also be the case. Actually a pretty small time span when that happened, or in which that happened. But the thing is, like, yeah, most of the things that are like, okay, making money with money, so investing money, as Gary Vee as well said in the podcast, is going to take quite some time. At least he doesn't know anything else. He just knows the long-term shit, unless, or just besides the sports card thing. Sports cards are the only thing that he knows is quite like a get rich quick scheme thing, even though it is not, because you just need the money and you need to know what to invest in and whatsoever. So, like, yeah, it is not easy. It might be somehow simple if you know what to invest in, but in the end, like, yeah, you just really truly have to know what you're investing your fucking money in, because if you don't, you're probably gonna lose. And, well, you also just need to have perfect, quote unquote, timing, because, yeah, if you invest too late, the price is gonna just go down again. If you just invest, way too early, you might just be stuck with your investment and whatsoever. So, I don't know. The thing is, I have not invested in anything up to this point, I guess. Because the funny thing is, I don't know, people sometimes actually kind of just don't know what investing actually is. A lot of people are like, invest in clothing and whatsoever, but in the end, it is not really an investment, isn't it? Like, unless you can actually make more money by just, actually investing than in clothing. Because, if you're a YouTuber and if you're just kind of reviewing your clothes and whatsoever, and you're making money with reviewing your clothes, then of course it is an investment, because you're making money with that money. At least as I see investments. It could just also be somehow something different. It could also just be like, another definition. I don't know at the time. But the thing is, I somehow believe that investing is when you just invest into something or buy something which you then use to make more money with. The thing is, if you just buy clothes for wearing them, I don't assume in most cases, in some, I do not even want to say rare cases, but I guess in some cases it is really an investment, For example, also when you're just able to make more money through just looking better or having a suit instead of just having a t-shirt just because your fucking business partners are so fucked up and so on to like looking shit. I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. But the next one is actually George Clooney. I'm really actually looking forward to him because I don't know what he could be. Okay, he's investing into tequila. So it is hard to keep up with all the celebrity branded liquors out here now. Certainly, some of their famous founders are looking enviously at George Clooney. The actor started Casamigos as a tequila meant for his friends, but it blew up and Diageo recently acquired it for around $1 billion. If you asked us 4 years ago if we had $1 billion company, I don't think we would have said yes, Clooney told CNBC. Well, at least he is modest about it. And he also just looks pretty modest, to be honest. He's like, actually seems pretty humble. I don't know why. He might be just spending his money on just, dumb shit or something. I don't know, it would actually be pretty interesting what he is spending his money for. For. It is for. I think it is for. The next one, Jessica Alba, or Alba, whatever. A mother of two young daughters, Jessica Alba started the Honest Company in 2012 as a way to sell organic products like baby wipes, laundry detergent, and body lotion to ethically minded consumers. It has run into legal and PR snaffles. What is snaffles? It is SNA, a confused or chaotic state. But it has also grown to hundreds of millions in annual sales, proving she was on to something big. It's amazing. Like, I don't know, something that you can also see there, like, particularly in this example, I do not want to kind of generalize it there just because we have seen something different, but, first of all, we're seeing a lot of products there. Besides Ellen DeGeneres, we see a lot of products there. We have seen tequila and also clothing brand with what was he called? Sean Combs. Is it? I'm very sorry. I'm very, 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 very sorry. Diddy. He's Diddy. Why did I thought about Digi? I don't know why. The thing is, we have seen just products here and brands and whatsoever. I don't know. And I assume as well that a lot of celebrities and a lot of people that are actually investing and are founding companies actually doing it with the sake, most of the time. And it is also a pretty great exercise for you to somehow determine or to somehow see what kind of brand or product could be invented by you. The first thing, and I've read it somewhere in one of the books that I've went through on the podcast as well, but I don't remember. The thing is, the best thing to somehow determine a good product for you basically is like asking yourself what really pisses you on this fucking planet and then solving it. And that's quite it. This is like the really kind of, how should I say, magic behind finding something to make, establish, produce, doing whatever. But the next one is Ashton Kutcher. And as I've got to know, he's actually a really, 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 really successful and avid investor. And I actually didn't know that. Like, I always thought like, okay, he's an actor, but in the past few years, I think he hasn't acted a lot, to be honest. I don't know. Like, I only assume by just the movies that I've seen, the movies that I've just, like, not seen in terms of, okay, I've actually watched them, but I've seen in terms of, okay, I have just realized there are some movies. Yeah, and he was in no one of these ones, at least as I remember. We could look that up afterwards, but I think I should just read what it is all about. So he may still be known to most people as that guy from that 70s show. Actually, I hated the show somehow. I didn't hate it, but I really didn't like it. And I only knew him through two man with the sun and something. You probably know what I mean, but I just don't know. I really don't know what this fucking shit is called right now. But yeah, so that 70s show, but Ashton Kutcher has earned his bona fides or bona fides, fetus, whatever, in tech industry in recent years. He and Guy Ozziari, Madonna's longtime manager, forget an unlikely bond with billionaire Ron Barkle and formed A-grade investments. They turned 30 million into 250 million with shred backing of Silicon Valley darlings including Uber and Airbnb. I don't know, like just from now, like just looking back from now, it is really like, okay, hasn't it been just really obvious that Uber is gonna be a thing and Airbnb, which actually stands for Air, Bed and Breakfast, that those two things are gonna be a thing? I kind of feel this way, you know. The next one is Nas. Is it actually the Nas from like the rapper Nas with Old Town Road? Yeah, Old Town Road. Or was it X-Nas or X-Nas? Never mind. I'm gonna read. So Nasir Jones has long ceded the rap throne to other younger talents, but the musician has quietly become a star investor in the tech world too. His venture capital firm Queensbridge Venture Partners, whose name is an homage to his native Queens, has made investments in startups ranging from healthcare to music production companies. On its roster include Lyft, or it is LYFT, Dropbox, and the digital currency exchange Coinbase. Pretty interesting. Like, I don't know. Like, the thing is, something which would be pretty interesting if they actually come up with the idea themselves, or if it is like a manager or some financial advisors or something. Because often in terms of Ashton Kutcher, I kind of believe, and also in terms of Ellen DeGeneres, Diddy somehow as well. But I don't know, in terms of Nas, I kind of feel like, okay, it was really not him somehow. Maybe I'm just really underestimating those people there. It could really be the case. And I'm really hoping that I'm not doing that. But, in the end, it is also like not a big deal if, one of your advisors said like, okay, invest into that, and, they were right. It is good for them. Like, it is pretty good. They made some money. I'm happy for them. I really am. But yeah, in the end, it really doesn't matter, to be honest. It really does not. But I was just wondering, I was just interested in, okay, do they talk about this in just those really rich kind of circles or something? I actually assume they do. Like, of course, there's going to be just some debate about, okay, what to invest in, what to use the money for. It's still there, depends on what circles you're in, I guess. There's going to be just those circles, but there's also going to be those spending circles. I at least assume. So I really don't know, but I assume, this is just what my brain says. But the next one is Robert De Niro. I didn't actually know that he's that old and that he actually, looks that way, to be honest. I really didn't know that. I just only knew him by name, or by his name. But yeah, so celebrities are no strangers to vanity restaurants, but it is rare that one becomes a genuine hit. De Niro keeps his name off Nobu, but chef Nobu Matsuhisa credits the acting legend with convincing him to launch a Japanese restaurant empire. De Niro was a fan of one of Matsuhisha's early restaurants and became a business partner in the Nobu chain, which is thriving across the globe. I actually haven't heard of it before. He wisely saw the lucrative possibilities in the chef's signature miso black cod, among other dishes. So it seems to be a dish, I assume. Like, yeah, they say it is a dish. So miso black cod, or COD, or code, or whatever it actually is. Is it like a soup because there is miso soup? Miso cod, black cod, whatever. It is like, it's a fish, it is actually a fish. Or like some special fish, I assume. Seems to be a fish. For all those people that might have wondered, it is a fish, because I have only said it 3 times now. Jessica Simpson. Pop singer Jessica Simpson will perhaps always be remembered for the more dizzy moments on a hit reality show, New Lloyds, but her moves in retail have been exceedingly clever. She launched the Jessica Simpson collection in 2006 as a footwear collaboration with Camudo Group, but it's expanded to clothing, jewelry, handbag, and more, blah, 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 blah. With billions in sales, its popularity led to Sequential Brands Group acquiring a majority stake in the brand for an undisclosed amount. And then there's actually JC. I would actually go through JC. We actually have quite a few left. Like, not so much, I want to say. JC will be the first to tell you he's not a businessman, he's a businessman. I really like the quote. I really, really like that when I just actually read it the first time. Sean Carter, which is actually his real name. So Sean Carter's, I'm very sorry, career as a mogul has been fruitful, propelling him to a net worth of more than 800 million. This article is actually from 2018, so it's a little bit old. By now, he's a billionaire. That's thanks to diversified investments in everything from his streaming service Tidal, which is valued at more than 10 times what he paid for it, to his Armand de Brinon, Champagne and Rock Nation talent agency. The latter recently negotiated Kevin Durant's $51 million deal with the Golden State Warriors. Not bad for a rapper who grew up surrounded by drugs in Brooklyn's Marcy Projects. And then Reese Witherspoon, apparently not content with just being a beloved Oscar-winning actress, Reese Witherspoon has broken out into 2 very different industries. For several years, she self-founded her production company, Pacific Standard, which has gone on to release successful films like Wild and Gone Girl, Witherspoon, and whatsoever. And Witherspoon was an executive producer on the hit HBO series Big Little Lies, on which she stars as well. Blah, 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 and other things. Draper James, a southern preppy line that competes with Tory Brunch and has been expanding. And then last but not least, 50 Cent. 50 Cent's tenure as a radio-dominant artist may be over, but his vast business portfolio isn't going anywhere. Among deals spanning everything from clothes to video games, he signed on to promote vitamin water in exchange for a stake in parent company Energy Brands. When Coca-Cola bought Energy in 2007, the deal netted 50 Cent a cool $100 million. The only problem there is that he already spent that $100 million and seems to be bankrupt somehow. 50 Cent's net worth, just because I'm interested and see how he's doing. Yeah, his net worth now is 30 million. It is okay, it is okay. But yeah. So I think this is gonna be the end with the episode, or of the episode. I wish you the best health, of happiness, and also success. And I also hope that you're going to remind yourself on how you're gonna be remembered. Yeah, and even though you might be the funniest and most generous and nicest person on this planet, still there are gonna be some people that don't like you. And also think about your purpose. Why are you on this planet, and what are you trying to change? And with that being said, I see you the next time. I love you, and thank you very much.